Do you pride yourself on being a great problem solver? Well, there might be another way to look at your impact both at work and at home.
Jody Bach with Bach's Office Transformational Consulting is here to talk about how to ask the right questions to help solve any and all of our problems.
So the first question I have, when you guys were talking about that Jesse Roscoe who's
Yes.
golfing in shorts, and you said he wears bright colors so he can be seen, right? Well, what about his ball? His white ball?
Oh,
How's he ever going to find that?
no, he's not. That's when you just use the bad ones and just go with where you think it might have landed.
So questions are what I'm here to talk about today. I've been on many times to talk about talking and talk about thinking. And so one of the things that I wanted to bring up today is asking the right questions. And I'll start by telling you that my first job out of college was as a newspaper reporter. So I was in the journalism field, and I was a sports reporter. And so my job was to go follow the sports teams, which was fun. But one day my boss, my editor, said, "I want you to do a news feature story." And I was not happy about that because I was a sports editor. I had to go talk to some little old lady about some collection she had. I made my questions up. I was ready to go. My idea was that I would ask a question, get an answer, ask a question, get an answer. But the funniest thing happened when I did that. I asked her a question. I didn't want to listen. I didn't want to know about her collection because I didn't want to be there. I had an attitude when I came in. But I asked a question, and she said something that was really compelling to me. And I had to drop my old defenses, and I got engaged in the conversation. And all of a sudden, I wrote a feature story about something that was totally unrelated to sports. And in that moment, many, many years ago, in my first career, it occurred to me that asking questions can actually create better relationships than just saying statements to people. And so what I've been pondering as a speaker, a coach, well, as a speaker, let's say first, my job is to speak, right? To talk, to tell, to declare, to say this is what it is. But what's happening in a lot of my facilitations and engagements is the engagement happens much more easily, quickly, more long-lastingly when I ask a question rather than try to solve somebody's problem. So what's been really interesting is that I have people who tell me I'm a great problem solver, as if they're very proud of that, and it's a declaration. But then what happens when they solve problems for someone? It's kind of like
done.
Well, and then it's kind of like being a volunteer, right? They come back to you again and again and again. So if you solve someone's problem once, they're going to expect you to keep solving their problems for them. And instead of taking on everybody else's problems, maybe there's a new way to do that. And it might be by asking them the right questions so they can solve their own problems. So, I don't know, 2 weeks ago I had this like amazing insight that I needed to write another book. So I just wrote a book over the weekend, and I just published it. And it just came out yesterday, and it's called Say What? 100+ questions to ignite conversation and spark dialogue.
Wow.
Wow.
And so what I wanted to tell you guys about and help some of your listeners and watchers understand is that owning a really good question can take you so much further than thinking you have to have the right answer all the time.
That is true. It can kind of facilitate a conversation you never knew the direction it would go into.
I think it's amazing. So 2 weeks ago you have an idea, and now you have a physical, tangible book. How did you do that?
You just do stuff when you have an idea, right? I self-published, and I just did it.
But on Amazon or where?
On Amazon.
Wow.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'll tell you more.
She's speedy.
I know. I think that's fantastic.
I'll tell you more in just a second.
All right, stay with us. Much more coming up right after this.